Good evening and welcome back to Prime of Midlife. It is Sunday evening. I am about to go and get ready for going back to work tomorrow. I need to do the sandwiches or sandwich fillings because we all know if you make sandwiches the day before they get very soggy. So we're not doing that. But just tonight is just a bit of a chat and a catch up. First thing, if you're in England, you have elections coming up. I think it's local council elections. Remember and take your voter ID with you. Do not believe anyone that says you don't have to take it. Make sure you have your photographic ID with you, which includes your driving licenses, your bus pass, blue badge, etc. There is a page on the government website that tells you what is an acceptable form of ID. But do not, if you want to vote, do not go out without your photographic ID with you. Other thing is, of course, we have the coronation coming up. There's people seemingly already camping out in the streets. We will be at work. It's one of those things. People want their houses fixed, so we'll be fixing houses. But if you're going to settle down and make yourselves those teas, have afternoon tea and things, I hope you have a fabulous day. Because, got to admit, I do love an afternoon tea with the tea and the cake and the more cake and more tea. Has to be done. So, yep, so that's basically what's happening in the UK just now. There's a whole lot of other bits and bobs. There was something else I was going to talk about, but I can't remember what it was now. But I'll eventually remember that. The other thing I tried to do today, if you saw my wee short, I'm all chuffed with myself. I got my parsnips and my carrots for my dinner. Very pleased with that. But prior to that, I was looking at budgeting. And that is Frugal Queen in France. That's all your fault. Because she's so good at budgeting and she works it out. And so I thought, right, I'm going to have a look at my budget. My budget and I need to have a bit of a discussion, I think. And I couldn't work out why it was so bad. However, I started the stashing stuff in the cupboards and things and buying stuff on the cheap and preserving it a couple of years ago, before the cost of living crisis really, really hit. So my shopping has changed quite a lot. Whereas I used to go and buy a lot online, or I would go to Tesco's or Asda's and fill up the trolley, and my wastage was quite hefty. You will have noticed, hopefully, that the cost, my food costs certainly, are a lot less than they were a couple of years ago. So that's probably got quite a bit to do with why my budget is not as bad as it looks. The other thing is I'm still budgeting quite heavily for my electricity, because there was a whole big mess up. It took me nearly 6 months to get a bill. So this quarter, which I should get the bill for in May, that'll be the first one that shows me properly what my electricity usage is, now that I've got rid of the storage heaters, the immersion is not on as much, and I've got the wood burner. So that will be quite interesting, but I'm still budgeting quite a bit for that, just in case, because, as I say, they messed it up so much when I changed tariff, etc. I've got no clue what a normal 3-month period is. And yes, I could go and count all the numbers and stuff, but I had quite enough by the time I'd finished looking at my budget. I was like, no. So, yeah, budgeting is obviously not my strong point. So, yes, we'll leave that to Frugal Queen in France. Thank you. If you haven't checked out her budgeting videos, I would certainly advise that you do, because she's got it down to a fine art, and I most certainly have not. It's just... So, but as I say, I'm back to work this week. Thank you to everyone who was so nice about my videos when I was on holiday. I mean, I'm not going to get over that till I fall over it. Sitting out beside the beach with my cup of tea in the morning was utter bliss. So that's me. I have rested and relaxed, and now I am ready to get back to work, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed tomorrow morning. Mandy is picking me up. Oh, and someone asked, how is Mandy enjoying her air fryer? She was loving it the last time I spoke to her. So, yeah, big difference for her. Again, because she's on her own, the same as I am most of the time, an air fryer is so much cheaper than using a big oven. That is definitely a big thing. So yeah, that's basically what I've done. I have done my tomatoes yesterday. We will not be doing that again. Can I just say, way too much. I did well, you obviously saw me, I got fed up and I threw them all in the food processor and then threw them in the slow cooker. Then once they'd cooked up a bit, I sieved them and I got like 1 passata jar out of that. I have now dried the peels and stuff in the dehydrator, so I'll get tomato powder. But that's a lot of work for very little return. We're not impressed. And that is something that if you're trying to do preserving, trying to do canning, etc., or even home baking, time for some of us is a huge, huge issue. That took me so much of yesterday and finished off this morning. It certainly wasn't worth it for the money I saved. It really wasn't. So in future, if I get any loads of tomatoes, they're getting chopped up and thrown in the freezer and then getting thrown into bolognese or whatever. We're not doing all that again. It's just not cost effective for my time. There is things I would be much better off doing, like obviously Sunday morning going to get the reduced meat in Lidl, doing other shopping like that. So yeah, that's another thing just to be wary of, because it's amazing how you can see so many people doing things and you're like, oh, that looks like a fabulous idea. Yes, Karen. Yes, that does look like a fabulous idea if you are not working. But you are, so behave. So yes, that is the other thing. Oh, and I have to tell you about the email I got. I got an email from someone who is very concerned about my health and is wanting to help me become healthier. So they made sure to tell me how dreadful my teeth were, how dreadful my gums were, and that could lead to diabetes, and I need to go to the dentist. And you know, if you think I'm getting turkey teeth, you've got another thing coming. I've got British teeth. They're dreadful. I had the most horrific experience with the dentist when I was young. The dentist I've got now, I didn't find them until I was in my 40s, and it took him a year to be able to put the chair back. So the fact I even get near a dentist now, we're quite impressed with. So, end of. I'm also seemingly, according to this email, overweight, and I need to lose weight because that's not healthy. And also my shopping is not up to scratch because most of my shopping is meat and carbohydrates. Like, yep, shopping's a Sunday morning in Lidl and the meat and the bread are what's reduced. Pretty simple to me, like. But seemingly that's not a way, and that can lead to problems as well. And do you know, don't you think Patrick, your boyfriend, would much more appreciate you if you were thinner and had better teeth? My goodness, thank you so much for the concern. I really appreciate that. And I will be sure to take it into consideration as soon as I have time to go and exercise 4 hours a day, pay thousands to get turkey teeth, etc., etc., or drive 10 miles to the nearest shop where they've got vegetables that I can afford. But, you know, as I say, isn't it nice that people are so concerned? It's so thoughtful of someone taking the time to email me to make sure that I understand all their concerns and how I can make myself better for my boyfriend, who would obviously appreciate me better if I was skinnier and had prettier teeth. So there you go. That's been my weekend so far. Yeah. Face of concern? I think not. So yes, that has been my weekend. I am off now to go and steal some of Patrick's chocolate biscuits, which happen to still be in the bag from the caravan. Make myself a cup of tea. So I hope you've had a good weekend, and I will catch you later.